Alright, as an EH, you may be hired to perform some kind of formal penetration testing just to see if systems are secured as they're supposed to be. But part of that process will be supplying a report to show, hey, this is what I've done. These were the tools that I used. I discovered vulnerabilities. I was able to do this or that on your systems. Here's some proof of concept screenshots of what I was able to do. Here's the results of the actions from when I performed them. Here's some recommendations on how to minimize threats that currently exist on your system, etc., etc. So your job is not just to, hey, can I break into this system, but it's going to be, can I break into this system? Can I relay this information back in a professional manner, in a helpful manner, to explain to the customer what the problem actually is with their systems? How can they be corrected and such? That's where this documentation video is going to come into play. We're basically going to use the creation of tarballs, tape archives format, and it's basically a container for storing multiple files. Once you are able to store these documents or files in these containers, you can then compress them as well to save size and such. We're going to get into that whole process right now of creating a tarball, compressing documents down, and when we're complete here, you will actually be submitting to me your tarball and showing me that you were able to successfully move through and manage these documents. Keep this in mind. You will want to make sure that you follow this process as you complete modules. You'll want to create different directories on your desktop, different tar directories for the modules you've completed, and keep things organized nice and neat, because when we get to our final module, you're going to present a report to me about how vulnerable the systems were that I provided to you using some of the labs that I provided to you. And you will be able to, at that point in time, go back, see your files, understand, hey, oh, I remember when we did this, I remember when we did that, here's what I would suggest on correcting this or that. That's going to be your output to me. That's your final report for this course. So keep in mind, this process that we're getting ready to do for tarballs and screen captures, you will be repeating this process throughout our labs. Alright, enough of me running my mouth here. Let's go ahead and get started on this. If you have stuff on your screen, such as all this text up here, and you want to get rid of that, if you type in CLEAR, clear, hit enter, it clears out your screen, makes things nice and neat looking. First thing we're going to want to do is we're going to jump to our desktop directory. And remember, once again, I typed a capital D. Make sure you type a capital D. It is case sensitive. This places us on our desktop, and if I do an LS from here, you'll see currently there's no files here. We have nothing available on our desktop. Move this out the way, you'll see we have nothing there. First thing we're going to want to do is we're going to create a directory. We're going to make a directory that is going to store our documents for this module here. So mkdir, that stands for make directory, and we will want to call this directory we make ITS 2500 module 3. You hit enter. That should have been created. If you type ls, you'll be able to confirm if it's there or not. Alright, it is. Let's take a look. I'm going to slide this out the way. There's our directory. So we've actually made that directory there on our desktop, and we can view it. Let's jump inside that directory as well. So we're going to CD for choose directory ITS 2500 module 3 and hit enter, and we are inside there. Now if we type ls, there should be no files, nothing exists inside there. Again, remove this, double click. As we can see, there's no files inside there at this time. I'm going to kind of keep this open and pushed off to the side, because as we're doing things here, we'll be able to watch stuff pop in there. First thing we'll do is we're going to create a couple of directories in there. So if we type echo quote hello ITS with another quote, we're going to use the greater than sign, another space, and then let's name this something, file 1. Hit enter. Now what should happen is we should have a file that's created over here, and let's take a quick look at what we typed. Echo means we're instructing the operating system to output anything that we see following quotes to a file. This is outputting to a file. So, hey, operating system, I want you to echo everything within quotes output that to a file 1, and that's what this guy is here. I'm going to do the same thing here. I hit the up arrow. I'm going to come back and hit my delete key, and I'm going to put tarballs rock, hit enter. Well, actually not yet. File 1 means it would overwrite that file, so change that to file 2, hit enter, and we see file 2 has now appeared over here. So at this point in time, all we've done is we've made some directories through the command line. We've dumped 2 files in there. We have some text inside these files. Now let's go ahead and make a tar of these 2 files. We're going to take all these files within inside this module directory. We're going to create a tar file from it. Okay, so here's how we're going to do that. We're going to type in tar hyphen cf, F as in Frank, module 3 dot tar space star. We should see a module3.tar file created. What we've done is we've instructed the system to create a tar file. These are the switches we've used. Create the file module3.tar, and this star right here means use all files within the current working directory to create this. We could have done an individual file. If we had 30 files in here, we say, yeah, we only need these 3 or 4 log files to send to the customer. Then what we would have done is come up here and we would have said, actually just include file 1, file 2, etc., etc., etc. And we would have made a tar file just from those files. But now that we've created this, hit your up arrow. Let's see how far back we need to go. Alright, well, let's type it again. Tar hyphen, and this time we're going to do a tf module3 dot tar. And what we're instructing the system to do is to list what's inside of this tar file. What's inside of it? File 1, file 2. That's all that exists there right now. So if file 1, file 2 were documents you've created during our labs, you would dump them into a module 3, module 4, module 5, whatever it is, tar them up, and you would be good to go. But just because we dumped files inside the tar, how in the world do we get them out? That's going to be our next step here. And there's a very important note to make here, and you'll see it within your lab, page 24. Wherever you extract files from a tar, regardless of where that tar file is located at, they are going to be extracted to your current working directory. This is our current working directory. If our current working directory just happened to be desktop only, just root at Kali and you saw /desktop and then the hash sign, but we wanted to extract files from a tar that was located inside this module, we could do that. But keep in mind, if this happens to be our working directory, let's say there's 20 files in there, all 20 files are going to get dumped on our desktop, invisible to us. They do not get dumped within the directory of the tar. So just to clarify, regardless of where that tar file is located, when you instruct the system to extract the files from the tar, they're going into your current working directory, wherever that happens to be. So in this case, we're going to want to get in the habit of using a -C switch. We're going to see that in just a second. And what that's going to do is, every time we go to extract a file, it's going to say, where are we extracting them to? So from our current location right here, we're going to make another directory. We're going to make tar extract. Now you can see the directory was just created back here. So we want to type in tar-xf for extract file. What's the file name? module3.tar -C tar extract. Now what we have done at this point is we are instructing the tar utility to extract the files from this tar file, and we want to place them into the directory that we specify. If we hit enter, we should have file 1 and 2 appear, correct? Let's double click and see. There we go. They did make it. So we're good to go so far. Also, make sure that you're in a habit. The reason why we're doing this through the command line is I want you to get into the habit of actually using the command line. Look at that, hit caps. To move around. It's very important that you get comfortable using command line and not just your GUI interface. So what I did here is I chose directory tar extract, which means I placed my working directory inside of this directory here, this folder. I did an ls. I saw that file 1 and 2 exist there. Now I'm going to do a cd space, make sure you got the space in there, dot dot. That's going to dump me back one directory. So again, in some of these modules, we are going to end up with lots of data. If you're running true legit penetration tests and things, you may end up with a few hundred megs of log files or such that you want from customers. So we at that point in time will want to compress and save as much space as possible, not just thinking of local hard drive space, but think of the transportation of these files, getting the files to the customer and all. They may want files secure FTP to them. They may want files sent in an email. Whatever that happens to be, we have to make sure that we have files that are manageable to move through whatever that transmission media is going to end up becoming. So what we're going to do from here is we're going to jump back one directory. We want to get out of this ITS 2500 module 3. Go back to our desktop. We're now going to create another directory. So mkdir. Hopefully this is starting to get repetitive for you and you're picking up on this. And we're going to do compression example. Go ahead and hit enter. The creation of what we make here will be what you send to me for grading. So make dir compression example. We're now going to type echo quote, please give me an A. And we will want to output that into compression example / grade 1. Hit enter. Now what we should see here, if you want to go this route, is if we jump back to our desktop, we'll see a compression example. We should have grade 1 as a file inside there. Let's come back over here. Let's take out please give me an A. This one, no. Seriously. I really want an A. Same deal. We're going to output compression example. This will be grade 2. Hit enter. You should see grade 2 is going to pop up over here. Alright, so cleaning up my screen a little bit here. The first thing that we're going to do at this point is to create this tar file. So to do so, we're going to use the tar command. The switches this time are C, Z, F. So we're going to create Z being compressed. Create a compressed file. It's going to be called compression example .tar.gz. And what we want to include in that file will be everything. Typo. There we go. So we should have on our desktop here our compression example file. If you would like to move through and verify the actual contents of this, you'll type in tar. Remember our commands for viewing what's in there, T for type, so type this file, what's inside of it, compression example .tar.gz, and we have taken everything from our desktop, everything that was created, everything we've done, and we've dumped them all inside this tar compression example. If we wanted to only include grade 1 and grade 2, we would have specified right here the actual location of exactly what we wanted to include. We included everything from our current working directory, as opposed to just saying, hey, grab this compression example and include all of that. That way when you submit this, I will have a hold of everything that you had just worked through there. This will be a deliverable, so you're going to want to submit this file to me, make your VM the active window here, and take a screen capture of your window, save this and send this. But I'm going to want your compression file as well, and I will show you how to get that off of your system.